Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my monthly update for Pan in Every palette. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm a little bit excited for this update because I finally have a new pan in a palette. So this project was originally created by Lady Pans a Lot over on Instagram, and it is a fairly large group collab. So I will have a bunch of people linked down below for you to check out, and you could see how they're doing. Most people are doing way better than me, but I'm having fun and I'm getting some use out of my palettes that I wouldn't normally get. I'm tracking my usage to see how long it takes me to hit pan, since a lot of these products that I'm rolling into this project are ones that I've used maybe a handful of times, maybe brand new. And because of that, it's interesting to see how many uses it takes to actually hit pan. The product that I hit pan on is my Colorpop Yes Please palette. I am so excited. I feel like I worked really hard on this shade. It is this yellow right here. There you go. You can see the pan shining brightly. It's not the biggest pan ever, but it counts. It actually took me 64 uses to hit pan on this guy, which is interesting because I've had a different Colorpop palette in this project before. It was the Element of Surprise palette, and I was working on a matte shade. This is a matte shade, and I used both shades in a very similar way, just kind of blown out throughout my crease and transition area. And that pan took me 63 uses to hit pan. This one is 64. So that was an interesting discovery that both shades took me almost exactly the same amount of uses to hit pan. So I am really excited to have another pan in a palette. It's every time I wear this yellow shirt, I still want to reach for this shade, but I'm not doing that because I have so many other transition shades that I should be reaching for. But every time I wear this shirt, I want to wear this yellow. But other than that, I'm really glad to have pan. Yellow is a really fun shade to wear as an eyeshadow, but it's very specific. You kind of got to be in the mood to pull out a yellow, and I'm not always in the mood. So I felt like I had to work at this a little bit, but I'm so glad to have another pan in a palette. That makes 8 palettes that I've hit pan on because of this project alone. I obviously hit pan on other palettes because of other projects, but because of this project, I have 8 palettes with a pan showing, so that's really exciting. Let me show you where I'm at with my other 3 palettes, and then I'll show you what I decided to roll in to replace the Yes Please palette. My least used palette of the past month is my Subculture palette from ABH. I'm still not sure which shade I'm gonna hit pan on, to be honest, but I seem to go for New Wave the most often. That's this one right here. I used this shadow twice in the past month. I did not use any of the other shadows even once, but I did use New Wave twice. I really like that shade a lot. It's surprising and fun. I feel like, I don't think I'm the only one to say this, but I feel like every time I look at these shades and use them, I'm thrown off by how much darker they look on my eyes than I think they're gonna look when I'm just looking at them in the pan. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but it's always a bit of a shock. But I just try to make sure I don't put this too high. I just put that in the crease and then I blend it out into my transition area, because if I started out with it in my transition area, it would be too much. So I put it directly in my crease and then blend it outward. And that's what really works for me. I like the shade a lot. It's definitely a fall yellow, but I feel like it can work all year long. I've been wearing it this spring and enjoying it. The palette that has been in this project the longest is, of course, my Pat McGrath Lovey and Rose palette. I like this palette a lot. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just don't reach for it from day to day. I don't know why. I'm trying to hit pan on this shade right here, and I did use it another 3 times in the past month, but every time I used it, it was only as an eyeshadow on my lower lash line. That's how I have it today. Let me scoot in closer. I think you could kind of see it. This is a really nice shadow to smoke out the lower lash line. I've been trying to pan this look when I'm not doing something else. I've only done this look a few times. I haven't really been going hard, but this is a look I kind of created to pan this shade and a couple shades from my Did You Pan My Battleship project and a couple shades from my Pan That palette. So this look works. It's a little bit much sometimes, but I like it. But all I can really do with this is put it on my lower lash line. So that's how I've used it this past month, and I used it 3 times. I suppose the silver lining is that if I'm using a pencil brush, I can target the same area over and over and get some more targeted use in one spot. I don't see any major dips forming yet, but we're getting there. And the palette that I've absolutely, without a doubt, used the most over the past month is once again my Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. I use this every single day, almost. Here it is right here. There's still no pan showing. I'm focusing on these 2 top shades. I use them to set my under eyes a lot. This shade over here on the left, I've used 27 times in the past month, and the shade in the middle, I've used 25 times in the past month. I love both of these shades very much. I think they are fabulous at setting the under eye. I really like the way my makeup works when I wear this powder on my under eyes to set my concealer. I have no complaints about this product or this palette. I don't have any major dips going, despite the fact that I've used this like 100 times already, but there are slight dips starting to form. I could see in the middle of the pan that I don't know if you could see it, but I can see that there's a little bit more pan showing in the middle than there was, but it feels like I'm a really long way from hitting pan on these. Okay, now is the time that I show you what palette is rolling in for the month. If you've been paying attention, this won't come as a surprise to you, but it is my Too Faced Life's a Festival palette. I've been wanting to roll this into this project for 2 months now, and today is finally the day that I could start working on this. I also featured this in my spring Shop My Stash that I did with Tosh, where I talked about my top 5 eyeshadow palettes for spring. This was one of them. I just think this is an awesome palette for spring, and honestly, I would wear these colors all year long, but particularly in spring, I think it is super appropriate, and I'm really excited to see how I can mix these in with the shadows I'm currently trying to pan to make it more interesting, to change up the looks that I'm panning. I don't think I've even used this palette 5 times in my life, so it isn't brand new, but it's almost brand new. What I like to do is take the first month to play around with the palette and see what I'm gravitating towards before I decide to zero in on one particular shade to hit pan. What I can tell you based on today is that I'm guessing that one of the shades I'm gonna pick is going to be one of the shimmery duochrome shades. I have a lot of mattes to work from right now, and I don't really need any more, but I'm guessing it's gonna be one of the shimmery shades, and if I had to pick one right now, it would probably be this one. I am a total sucker for blue browns. This is more of like a blue purple, and it's been a long time since I've reached for one of these shades, and I would love it, and I would love to see what this can do to mixed in with the other eyeshadows I'm currently panning. I have a shadow very similar to this Mystic Rain shade, this light purple with a blue shift in my 50 Shades of Purple project, so I'm guessing I'm not going to be picking this one, although I love this shade, which is why I have multiple of them and why I put it in the 50 Shades of Purple project. I'm going to say it's probably not going to be the teal that I pick, but aside from that, I don't know. I love this matte shade Desert Vibes. It's awesome. I love all these shades, so we'll see. That's what the first month is for, to play around and see which shade I'd like to pan the most. But I'm really excited to finally be working on this and to have a reason to use it and to enjoy it and to roll it into this project. As you guys know, Too Faced eyeshadows are no joke. It's not that easy to hit pan on a Too Faced shadow, and I'm guessing this is going to be in the project for a long time. But I'm excited to finally be using this palette and enjoying it. All right, that is it for this update. I'm so excited to be rolling in a new palette and to be changing up my routine. What was kind of nice was that I hit pan on this Colorpop palette towards the beginning of the month. So for the majority of the month, I've had one less eyeshadow to try and fit into looks, and I've been able to focus on the other, 50 eyeshadows I'm trying to finish or hit pan on. But I am so excited to finally be able to work on this guy right here. So I will let you guys know which shade I decide to pan in next month's update. I am not predicting any new pans for next month's update. I mean, miracles happen, but I don't think there's gonna be any new palettes rolling out or rolling into this project for next month. But hopefully I will continue to make progress on all of them and start getting some good dips going in some of these shadows. So that's it for this update. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.